Hi, and welcome to the demonstration of RNOXfer, or RNOTransfer, which is a graphical file transfer client for Amiga-compatible operating systems. It currently supports FTP, FTPS, and SFTP protocols. When you launch the program, you are presented with the main window of the program. In the upper part of the window is the server list button, the protocol selection gadget, and fields to specify the connection details, like the server address, and your credentials for accessing the site. This is all you need to get started, and you can connect to a site just by clicking on the Connect button. The program is pre-configured to access a minute via FTP. In the middle of the window, there are two half-size list views and their control buttons. The left view shows the contents of your local folder, and the right view displays the contents of the folder of the remote server you have connected to. At the very bottom of the window, you can see a status bar, which shows file selection and transfer details. There's also a drop-down menu with more options to control the program. To make a connection to a new custom server, you should select the required protocol first of all. Traditional FTP is an insecure protocol, as it doesn't use encryption, but it's still the fastest and okay to be used for anonymous connections, or within your own private local area network. Modern FTP servers offer a more secure option by using encrypted FTPS connections. There are two different methods, explicit and implicit, to invoke a FTPS connection. The explicit method is the most common and easiest nowadays. It works over the same port as the insecure FTP, so changing into it is just a matter of changing the used protocol, and no other configuration is needed. The implicit method is handled through a different port, but it's rarely used anymore. RNOXfer supports them both for completeness anyway. Technically speaking, SFTP isn't related to the traditional FTP protocol at all, but you can use it to connect to a server you have an SSH account for, such as to your Linux devices or other remote systems, and transfer files just as with FTP, but without requiring the setup of specific file server software. Changing the protocol within the program also changes the port settings to any commonly used defaults. The passive setting should be left enabled usually, though disabling it may speed up transfer rates for servers within your own local network. Server information from the main window can be stored in an address book by adding it to the server list. This can be done before you have actually connected to the server, but it's recommended that you connect first of all to ensure that the connection can actually be established as expected. Open the server list window from the drop-down menu, or by clicking the button in the top left corner of the window. Then simply click the Add button, and your server configuration will be added to the list. To edit an existing server in the list, just change the date to in the main window, and add the server again. Double-clicking a server in the list will connect to the server immediately and close the server list window, but this behavior can be changed from the program settings. The select button won't connect to the server, but inputs its information into the main window, such as for editing purposes. If you need a server's information in URL format, you can copy the URL to the clipboard by right-clicking the selected server. Note that you can also import server information in URL format using the Import URL option from the Project drop-down menu. To store an amended server list, permanently select the Save option from the Settings drop-down menu. This option also saves the open state of Windows. If you want the server list window opened at the program's startup, save the settings while it's open. When you are connected to a server, the items above the list views help you to browse directories, select files, or do a forced refresh for a file list. The leftmost button opens the parent directory, and the button next to it opens a pattern selection window, where you can select files and directories by pattern matching. String fields show the current directory on both sides, but on the server side, it also caches the directories you have transferred files from during your current session. You can easily jump between the cached directories by clicking on the pop-up button at the right side of the string field. When you select files or directories, selection information is updated at the bottom of the window. If you have selected equal amount of files that have equal total size, an equal sign character appears in the information area. This can be used to check if all files are transferred or are up to date. The buttons below the lists let you to create new directories or files, edit file names or file contents, or delete files and directories. On the remote side, you can also edit file permissions on the server. Double-clicking a file then displays it in an external program, but the program can be configured to download double-clicked files instead. Both list views have a right mouse button context menu, which allows you to act on alternative actions to the selected files and directories. Items names and paths can be copied to the clipboard as they are, or using the URL format. Directory sizes can be calculated, files can be searched from subdirectories, and files can be viewed or edited. The search file option opens a new window that shows the search results, and double-clicking a result line will load its directory in the list view and select the clicked file automatically. The search results can also be saved to a file or copied to the clipboard. The program can be used in a single view mode by disabling the local lister option from the view menu. In this mode, only the remote file list is shown in a single view, and files and directories can be uploaded by dragging and dropping files from OS windows into the program window. Downloading will then always ask for the destination directory. Drag and drop works in dual list mode too, but when dropped into the local list view, the location of the dropped file is loaded, and the dropped files and directories are selected automatically. If you want to see connection and transfer logs, there's a log window that can be opened from the drop-down menu. With this window, you can also send custom FTP commands to servers and see those results in the log. The whole log, or selected lines from it, can be saved or copied to the clipboard. The program can be launched from the command line too. It can import a URL, select a saved server from the server list, auto-connect to a server, and set default directories at startup with command line arguments. The same arguments can be used as icon tooltypes. For example, if you want to auto-connect to a server when launching the program by double-clicking its icon. Open the settings window from the drop-down menu. Most configuration options are currently located on the general page. External programs can be configured so that you can view and edit files. The viewer should be a generic program to view all kind of files, and a good choice would be the open command for MorphOS or the wbrun command for Amiga OS4 to open files using default programs within the operating system itself. Basically all other files but images are treated as text files in the program, but you can of course configure the text editor as any binary editor if you often access such types of files. If a program needs command line arguments, they can be entered in the args field. Please read the help bubbles within the program for more information about argument suggestions and options. You can also run your own programs or scripts after download or upload has completed. Downloading options let you decide if double-clicked files on the server side are to be viewed or downloaded. There are also options to preserve file dates from the server, set the download URL as the file comment, and limit file sizes if your file system doesn't support large files. The Verify Uploaded Files option will check each file you upload by downloading them instantly after the upload to compare the data with its originating file. Files aren't downloaded as real files, but just downloaded in small chunks that are disposed of after having compared its data. It means that no hard disk space or memory is wasted using this operation. In the server list options, you can choose what happens when you double-click a server in the server list window. It can be configured to select a server within the main window without connecting to it or to connect to a server immediately. Connecting will also disconnect any previous session. You can also decide if the server list window is left open or closed after double-clicking on it. The Select at Startup option selects the last saved active server at the program startup. Its information will be pre-filled in the connection fields, and you only need to click the Connect button to connect to it. Disabling the Verify Certificates option makes encrypted connections less secure, so isn't a recommended option, but may sometimes be preferred. For instance, if you don't need to see warning pop-ups with the self-signed certificates of your home server. The program can also be used with graphic-enhanced buttons instead of text or MUI-based buttons. The button graphics are loaded from the GFX directory, and you can replace them with your own choices if you want to. The program is also available for Amiga OS4 and classic Amigas. RNOXfer is made available to you as donationware. If you feel it is useful to you and represents some benefit that you gain from using it, then please send me a donation to the address found in the redm.txt file or click the donate button at the home page. Thank you for taking the time to watch this tutorial, and I hope you find it useful.